Good morning. My name is Amelia Lee here with you on this Thursday, March 6th at 6:29. That means it is time to check on in with meteorologist Megan Dusmall this morning. Megan, we have had some cold temperatures recently. We've had some wind, wintry mix. So what is on that weather docket for today?
We'll see a little bit more of that wintry mix this morning and those snow chances as we get a nice little dusting across portions of our region. Thankfully, it's moving out of the way, but those temperatures will not be warming up too quickly. We'll still see cold temperatures today. Here's a look at that live pinpoint Doppler radar so you can see where that rain and wintry mix is right now. Snow chances as you travel more towards the north of our region where we're seeing those colder temperatures. And speaking of the temperatures, here they are. Mostly in the 30s, seeing upper 20s as you're traveling towards Jackson, 29, 28 in Clintwood, and 27 for Wise. Now, this afternoon temperatures will be warming up a little bit, and I mean a little bit, because we're only going to get to the low to mid 40s. And for Wise, only getting to the upper 30s. So it's going to be cold. We'll need that jacket all day long. And for the next 12 hours, here's how those temperatures will be changing. For the most part, just staying pretty cold all day long. Amelia.
Thank you, Megan. Well, many businesses are trying to bounce back following the flood a few weeks ago, including right here in Perry County. Billy Moore is no stranger to overcoming obstacles. His printing shop flooded in 2022. Now he's back in the same boat. He says he has not lost as much equipment as he did 3 years ago, but this time he fears he may be losing stamina to make it to the other side.
Right now it's a financial thing more than anything. You start getting into some of this stuff, you know, it's $1,000 here and $1,000 there. Before you know it, you $10,000, $15,000 before you know it, and I ain't got it no more. Financially, I don't know if we're going to be able to open back up. I mean, it's tough.
Perry County Emergency Management Director Jerry Stacy says numerous businesses are facing the same harsh reality, but Stacy says he still has a lot of hope and will for people to find a way. As schools are starting up again after severe weather, districts are getting creative with how to make up missed days. Pike County School Superintendent Freddie Bowling says the state of Kentucky requires schools to complete 170 school days and 1,062 hours of instruction. As they prepare to go back next week, the superintendent says the school day will look a little different going forward.
We have extended our school day 30 minutes, and we've also taken out spring break. So we're trying to make up that time, get the kids back in the classroom and have some type of normalcy for them.
As some roads are still difficult to navigate for buses to pick up and drop off, Superintendent Bowling says there will be some changes to bus stop locations, and the district will be posting that information for people affected. The Churches of Christ Distribution Center for Flood Victims has made its way to eastern Kentucky. Based out of Nashville, Tennessee, the organization responds to major disasters in the states, donating supplies to local Churches of Christ. In our area, Hemp Hill Church in Jackson and in Perry County, the Lothair Church of Christ have been used as distribution centers. The Lothair Church outgrew its needs, so it's moved to the Church of Christ Pantry at Taking a Bite Out of Hunger in Leslie County.
So our family and the families here know what it's like to see the loss of 2022, and we just want to do what we can to help our neighbors.
The Churches of Christ have boxes prepared with non-perishable food items, hygiene products, and even more. The Hemp Hill Distribution Center is open daily, and the Leslie County location is open Tuesdays and Thursdays. More FEMA disaster recovery centers are open this week for people affected by flooding. FEMA representatives at the Floyd County Board of Education site are explaining how to apply for assistance and help connect survivors with resources to help them recover. Terry Chaffins lives in Martin and had 4 inches of water in his home. He just registered with FEMA and is hoping they will be able to provide financial help.
As I told him up at FEMA, I said, it's really put a struck on me. I mean, it's really hurt my lifestyle. I mean, it destroyed all my tools and stuff like that I can't get back up on my feet right now.
The center at the Floyd County Board of Education is open Monday through Saturday from 7 until 7 and Sundays from 1 until 7. Kentucky lawmakers are continuing to rally around survivors of the Valentine's Day weekend flood. As the rebuilding continues, I was able to speak with 2 political leaders about the current situation. Some folks have called it one of the worst floods they've seen in eastern Kentucky. Congressman Hal Rogers says he will continue to back the people in this area.
Our people are hurting. They don't deserve this. and I'll be there trying to help alleviate the pain that they're suffering now.
With an added promise that things will get better for the resilient people of Appalachia.
We've got to assure our people that all of us are doing all that we know how to do to try to alleviate their pain.
Senator Brandon Smith says he has goals for Perry County to become less susceptible to inevitable flooding.
We've been hit with 2 of them now, and while I can't do anything about the weather pattern, I can make sure that our house is right, that we've got our house in order for when this stuff comes. And when I say house, I'm talking about my district.
Even in the worst of times, Eastern Kentuckians are seen coming together, building back, neighbors helping neighbors.
After every flood, we rebuild and we repurpose. We don't quit, and we'll lick this thing in the end. So Eastern Kentuckians, stand firm, stand tall. We'll be with you.
One northeastern Kentucky county is trying to make sure it gets help after last month's flooding. Elliott County Judge Executive Myron Lewis says FEMA workers were there on Tuesday to assess the damage. Lewis says the county already put more than $25,000 into recovery work. More than a dozen eastern Kentucky counties are approved for FEMA aid. Lewis hopes Elliott County will soon join that list. Kentucky lawmakers passed a House bill that would prohibit diversity, equity, and inclusion in public universities and require them to remove all DEI programs by June 30th. The bill is known as House Bill 4 and is co-sponsored by Representative Jennifer Decker. She says prohibiting DEI programs would save taxpayers money. Opponents say protections need to be in place for historically underrepresented communities and minorities. The bill now goes to the Senate. A tow truck driver's death led others in the industry to call for additional safety measures. Troy Caldwell was killed while working on Interstate 64 in Bath County last year. Fellow tow truck driver Bubba Johnson has helped lead a push for House Bill 115, what they're calling Troy's Law. It seeks to add protections for tow truck drivers, starting with making them more visible to people driving fast on the highway.
Regardless of the results we end up getting, it has made the awareness very much there. People realize the dangers.
Representative Richard White says he's been in touch with tow truck drivers to discuss what they need in order to feel safe on the roads. He says blue lights in particular are typically associated with law enforcement, which he says could give some lawmakers pause on the bill. But he says it's what other tow truck drivers want, and he's supporting their mission. A new House bill would expand training to recognize signs of child abuse. House Bill 194 adds animal control officers to the list of jobs required to be trained on the signs of abuse. Research shows animal abuse is often linked to other kinds of violence. If passed, the training would become a requirement starting next year. Some representatives would like to see that happen even sooner. And one new Kentucky bill would make it easier to vaccinate your pets against rabies. House Bill 527 would allow veterinary technicians to vaccinate dogs, cats, or even ferrets against the virus. If passed, vet techs would be able to administer vaccines under direct supervision of a veterinarian in the clinic. It passed in the committee, and now it will head to the full House. People in 13 eastern Kentucky counties can now apply for disaster SNAP benefits. People in Breathitt, Clay, Estill, Floyd, Harlan, Johnson, Knott, Lee, Letcher, Martin, Owsley, Perry, and Pike counties are all eligible to apply. Applications will be accepted until March 12th, that's next Wednesday, with the exception of Sunday. To apply, you should call the Department for Community-Based Services at 1-855-306-8959.